Hello, I'm Drumheller, Glasgow bass and club music producer, and I'm going to show you how I made my remix of Ice Ice Baby. Warning first, I'm running on a very old, over 10-year-old Mac computer, so if it's very pixelated and shit, I apologise. So yeah, this was my third attempt on a remix. My first one was like a very hard dancehall type one. My second was like a UK drill one because I thought it'd be funny for him to be on, but especially the second one, I just felt like I made a UK drill beat and then just put a cappella on top. But this one, I kind of like made it club friendly, while also like building the beat around the cappella instead of just putting it on. So the first thing I did was go through samples. So I found these hi-hats up here from the original, and just made a wee pattern out of them, put them mono, auto pan, hi-hat, a bit coarse. Then I was getting chops through the acapella, but then I just decided to use the whole acapella. So for the intro bit, I used a reverse reverb thing. So I just like bounced it out, reversed it, and added loads of reverb. Right into the kicks. This is the first sort of kick pattern for the intro. Just a cue and a compressor on it. I use these chops as well. I use them throughout the chorus bit, or just say Ice Ice Baby. EQ, delay. You'll see these effects come up from time and time again. They're my sort of go-to presets in Ableton. All the stuff I use like stock Ableton sounds because again my computer cannot hack it. Yeah. Got my tag here. Some amens getting filtered in. Classic break. What's up here? These are from sessions of demos I've done with my man Casement. Shout out him, amazing producer. We've got a few things coming out later in the year, hopefully. So it's a ballet thing, but pitched down a lot. These are from like Kraftwerk, like dance hall thing we done. These are just throughout the song. So like using a lot of texture shit. These are rims from it as well. And these toms are like pitched up and down. I like just sampling a lot of like tiny wee things from other songs. One of my favourite bands, Tinyhandz. This is a sort of stomp. It's got some nice like texture, artifacty stuff in it. But you can kind of hear some bits. It sounds like someone talking in the background. Some nice sort of natural sounding claps. Yeah, as I said, made it quite club friendly. So we build up to stuff, adding some stuff in. Got this, which is sort of like the vocal outro. It just sounds really good pitched down. Like all the vocals are like really pitched down to actually make Vanilla Ice sing good, because otherwise it just sounds really corny and shit. I've got this Hey, it's just from the acapella as well. I've been using a lot of like gong sort of sounds and stuff recently, and I thought that kind of fits the bill. I've just got reverb and delay in a bus, which is the same reverb and ping pong delay you'll see throughout the tracks. I use it a lot, to put it lightly. Cool. Effects, yeah, more 9 Inch Nails. I use this in a lot of songs. It's just to start from Heart, some crashes and shit. We build up. I've got the late filtered, so you kind of get a wee tease of it. So if I want to go up here. One thing you'll see throughout the track, like as I said, I like built the acapella, like built the track around the acapella. So Vanilla Ice will say something, and then something will happen, like in this bit you go stop, then it's a wee stop bit. It's a bit later you mentioned something about a knife, and you hear like knife sound effects and that. I just thought it was quite funny, and I don't know, yeah, it was funny to do. So this bit's like a wee 4 bars. Yeah, I noticed the like different sections are like different like bars, and like there'll be like a 16 bar bit and then like 8 bar. It doesn't make a lot of sense and it's a bit messy, but it's fun. So for this wee breakdown bit, just I'll just go over what's in this bit and sort of the effects I've been using. This riser that she used throughout the song. With the crash, this is a sound from the Jimmy Edgar and machine drum pack. I use repitch a lot. Just gives it different sounds quite quickly. And I've been making a lot of like edits of stuff from Mum Dance, so I added this in, pitched it way down, automated some reverb and delay. Another thing I've used a lot in this song is lots of different like these Foley things from the crowdsource pack, which is the boiler room thing where they'll get a producer on and people just send in samples. So I thought that was relevant, so I may as well do this. I made this riser thing through a modem with lots of delay. Got a white noise. What else? Got my tag, which is from an interview when someone says the name Drumheller because it's based in Canada. Yeah, we went into the first drop then. It took me scarily long to get this a cappella warped into time, which is shocking. So this first section I'll just play it for you and then I'll go into it a bit. Yeah, it's sort of like electro basic shit. Yeah, we'll see.
Ice back with the brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, float like a harpoon daily at nightly. Will it ever stop, yo? I don't know. Turn off the lights up and I'll blow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a jump like a candle. Yeah.
This keeps happening when I play it. It doesn't do it in the bounced out version, but anyway, it's kept. Yeah. So yeah, done a different kick pattern, spice it up a bit. Velocity rolls type things to keep it interesting. 808 I think kind of follows it. On the 808 it's just I use the tom preset a lot on the bass stuff. Don't know, it's just nice and fuck about with it. The bass extender I use all the time, sidechain to the kick, filter for later. Yeah, but without the kick, because it's just one hit, it kind of sounds like dubstep-y, just on its own. Listen. That's quite cool actually. Yeah, as mentioned, I've got a siren thing as well. As mentioned, a lot of the beat is just built around the acapella, so there's lots of these wee fill bits, like this bit right here.
Turn off the lights up and I'll blow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a jump like a candle. Yes.
I don't know why I keep on doing that. It's fucking
annoying. Light up a stage and wax a jump like a candle.
Because it's ice, I thought it'd be a good idea to put in like the wily sort of Eskimo sounds. Right. Yeah. And then it sort of lots of stuff comes back in.
Light up a stage and wax a jump like a candle. Yes. Once I speak with that booms, I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom.
Yeah, yeah. High shaker sort of loop. Just pitched it down to sort of make it fit the vibe more. Yeah, I've got these classic sort of vocats, hats. Yeah, from another song I done in Casement. I think that one's coming quite soon. As I say, I love the repitch stuff, so that's quite a higher one, so bring it down, sound better. EQ, bit warmer, flanger. Yeah, with this channel here, it's just for like fills, but they're not really fills half the time. Just there's just some extra shit in the background. The then comes back in. A lot of these tech claps, so I like quite a lot this wee loop. Sort of transition into the ballet funk section. I've got this classic ballet thing. I think this and the sort of Jersey think break that's later is from the Casual Look pack that he made and sent me. Very good producer, great guy, shout out him. I use all his like sample pack a lot. Like this is really handy to use. So we're just going into the ballet funk section here. Again, changing the kick and the snare pattern again. I'll just look this, just get a refill and add some shit in. Get the tech claps again. The zaps. These claps here, I use these in so many songs. It's just such a great clap. You just put a bit of EQ and a reverb, sounds amazing. Fairly simple. To sort of just enunciate the drop a bit more. These snares are from the Kanye West song. Like I'll just take wee samples, tiny samples from stuff. There's a Guilt Trip off of Jesus with Kid Cudi. I'll try it in the kicks. But I couldn't really tune the kicks well enough, and it was clashing with the bass. So I just used the mad snare things for like the ballet thing, the ballet sort of snare rhythm. But I liked it so much, I just kept, as you can see, keep it throughout the track. Sort of spice up the ballet bit as well. I used a repitch thing to give it a bit more rhythm, so I'll just put it with the kick. Another thing that's like with the pitch down the live vocals, it just sounds good. Like that's the simple. Yeah, this is one of the things he'll mention something. I'll just put this on. Where is it? Like he'll mention cymbal and then the hi hat's coming after. And then this is sort of like a prelude into the Jersey section. So the E-Men's come back in. Other shit. Got these vocals as well. Fuck off. Oops. Yeah. Hey holes. Yeah, and for this bit as well, I sort of chopped up the vocals a bit, sort of lead into the Jersey bit, and pitched these bits down. So this is by 3, these bits are by 6, because the rest of the song's by 6, sort of just teasing it in. So.
Give my 5.0 with the rag top down so my hair can blow. The rag top down so my hair can blow. The rag top down so my hair can blow. The give my 5.0 with the rag top down so my hair can blow. The girls were hot with the less than bikinis, sparkling lava, straddling Lamborghini.
So yeah, Jersey kick pattern, the bass as well. Yeah, I chopped up the has some more here, give it more energy. And then when they're all together, the flanger effect that it comes through. But yeah, then just this section here, as I said, stuff comes in. Some of the patterns change, like this is on the floors now, just as a normal snare. So we Jersey sort of think break filter up. There's gas, so often I'll be. I'm trying to get away before the jackers jack. I'm trying to get away before the jackers jack. It was a problem, so I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ performs. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. It goes back to the original drop. Around that. Get it? So I'm just bringing stuff in that. Oh, I forgot to mention the raps. These are from the track work thing we've done as well. This ping pong bit of saturation. I use like stuff like this quite a lot. But this thing as well, look what that is. That's good though. These around you vision and feel. Conducted and formed is a hell of a concept. We make it hype. Anyone step with this. Shape plays on the fade. Slides like a ninja. That's my favourite bit. The cutlet or razor blade, I mentioned it earlier. So that. This is from the Dogen Electra pack. They are absolutely amazing. It's the wildest sounds, and I love their music a lot. Stuff drops out, it's kind of natural. So I just go back to the valley kick pattern, valley bass, just transition it out. Stuff out. And then yeah, the modem song filters back up, like comes back in. And yeah, that's just about the track. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was stressful at times, and then try to get stuff on sync with each other because we're all like whack. Because I sort of do all my drums and that in audio, as you can see. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, thanks a lot for Subcity for having me. Shout out to Tinyhandz FM. You can get me on socials, Drumheller. Just had like my first 2 releases, Peachy UK, Cartilage, and Kayfabe out on Future Bounce. You can get them there. Yeah, I've been Drumheller. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Let's kick it. stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop, yo? I don't know. Turn off the lights, and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chunk like a candle. Dance, rush the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. You better gain weight. You better hit the bulls out. A kid don't play. And if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ performs it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas all pumping, quick to the point, no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them. If you're not quick and nimble, I go crazy when I hear a cymbal and a hi-hat with a souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo. Rollin', hit my 5.0 with the rack top down so my hair can blow. Golden, hit my 5.0 with the rack top down so my hair can blow. The rack top down so my hair can blow. The rack top down so my hair can blow. Golden, hit my 5.0 with the rack top down so my hair can blow. The girls were hot, women less than bikinis. Rock men lovers, driving Lamborghinis. Jealous, cause I'm out getting mine. Shade with the gauge, I'm another with the 9. Or the jokes on the wall, the jokes acting ill cause I'm full of 8-ball. Gunshots, rings out like a bell. I grab my 9 on my hood where shells falling. On the concrete, real fast, jumped in my car, slammed on the gas, bumper to bumper, yeah, I'm loose pack. I'm trying to get away before the jack does jack. The bumper to bumper, yeah, I'm loose pack. I'm trying to get away before the jack does jack. Look, there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ performs it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Take heed, cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene just in case you didn't know. My town, that created all the bass sound. Enough to shake and kick holes in the ground. My style's like a chemical sphere. These around you with vision and fear. Conducted and formed, there's a hell of a concept. We make it hype, and you wanna step with this. Shape blaze on the fade, slice like a ninja, cut like a razor blade so fast. Other DJs say, damn, rhyme was a drug, I'd sell it by the gram. Keep on the motion when it's time to get loose. Magnetized by the mic when I kick my juice. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ performs it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Yo, man, let's get out of here. We're too good. Ice, ice, baby, too cold. 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 Ice, ice, baby, too cold.
Hey, I'm Lady Neptune. I am a gabber and electronic music producer and performance artist, and I was asked by Subcity Radio to show you a little bit about how I do sampling. Subcity sent us all the same sample, and I decided I was going to use this track that I already was working on. That's going to be on my up and coming EP. So it's already finished. This is the unmixed version, and I thought it would be cool to add some samples to it. So I'll play a bit of the track as it is from maybe the middle. The first thing that I had to do to add the samples that were sent to me was change the tempo, because the samples that they sent me were at 116 BPM, and as you can see, my track is at 180. So the way that I did that, and there might be an easier way of doing this, but this is just the way that I knew, so that's what I did. I went to new project, I'm going to click don't close. I created a new audio file, which pops up by itself anyway. Click create. So first you need to change the project to the same BPM as the track you're bringing in. So I'm going to change it to 116 there. And then drag that in. Okay, and then basically the easiest way of like changing tempo in Logic is to use this icon that looks like a sort of bow tie pasta shape and that is called flex time. So if you click on that and then change it to polyphonic, all you have to do then is change the project tempo to 180. And you can do this with multiple audio files at once. It's super useful. And yeah, you can change it to whatever speed you like. So I'll show you it. I'll play you it first, like how it was.
Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know.
Okay, that's it. That's what it sounded like originally. And then here, yeah, this is it at 180.
Turn off the lights, and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance, rush a speaker that booms. I'm killing.
So yeah, there you go. There's Vanilla Ice rapping. Okay, so the next thing you do is just go through the sample and pick bits that you like. The way that I like to do it is just like go through everything a bit, like one by one. And if you change the second icon here to scissors and then press command, so it changes your pointer to the cut. So yeah, let's have a listen.
Yo, VIP.
Okay, I quite like that, so I'll cut that.
Let's kick it.
It's also quite good.
Ice, ice, baby.
I mean, obviously we need to use that because it's iconic.
Ice, ice, baby. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
Right,
ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping.
Okay, so I love that bit. I'm gonna take that as well.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping.
And basically what I'm doing here is just zooming in a bit so I can see like the wave format a bit clearer, so I don't like chop any bits off that I want to use. Okay, so now I've picked my bits. I'm going to bounce them as individual WAV files. So if you drag across the top here, like you can loop stuff.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping. Now that the
Okay, so that's a bit too long actually. Let's do it exactly those bars.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping. Now that the party is jumping, with the
Okay, great. I love that. So then you just go, yeah, make sure this is selected, make sure the length of it is looped, and then you just click here on bounce, click PCM, all these settings are great. Okay. And my computer's going to crash. So I'm going to call this one jump in. I've actually got this already saved onto my desktop, so I'm going to call it jumping 2 and bounce. Cool. So bounce that, and yeah, you just go through it and do it with like all the sample bits that you want to use. We can close that. Normally you should save it. I've already got a version of this saved, but I just wanted to show you how to do it. So yeah, here's the one we just saved. And then you go to the track. So there's a few ways you can use sampling in Logic Pro X. Some really easy ways, some slightly more fiddly ways. And the first thing I'm going to show you is just literally cutting like audio files and putting them in like a good rhythmic order. It's possibly the most simple way to do like sampling. So this is what I did with this track. I'm just going to take off these so you can hear it before I like messed around with it. So yeah, I picked like a bunch of sounds that I really liked.
Let's kick it.
So yeah, that's him saying let's kick it. Like,
let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
And I just put them like
ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
Okay, so that sounds cool, but it's not really like fitting in with how the track is climaxing. I want the vocals to sort of move up in the same way that the rest of the track is. So what I did there was I created a EQ channel, and then in the EQ channel I like picked these, like switch these on, and then you go down here and I chose channel EQ and high cut frequency, which basically brings up this blue line. And as you can see, like I've already done it. I'll undo it just so I can show you. So yeah, what you do is when you click on any bit, it like comes up with a sort of point area. I'm sure there's technical words for this. So I've made like 3 points there, and then I'm going to pull it down so that it kind of does that like filter sweep that you hear in a lot of EDM music. I'll play you how it sounds right now. You can hear it's really quiet. So I actually want it to sweep a little bit slower than that along with the music. So what I do when I want to do that is I go to Automation Curve Tool, and again press Command, and I just like curve it a little bit so it's not like a straight line going up. It's a little bit more like gradual, like it's a curve. And yeah, maybe I want it to start a little bit sooner than that, so let's have a listen. Cool, great. I love how that sounds. So then I found this bit where, you know, where we cut earlier as well, that says Yo VIP. Yo VIP. Yo VIP. Yo VIP. And I just add it to the beginning of like the beat of the bar. Yo VIP. Yo VIP. So yeah, it's just like, I also added a little bit of a sweep here, just to, you know, add some dynamic to the song. Okay, and now I'm just going to add some effects to it, because I think it sounds a bit dry at the moment. So what I did then is I used this filter by Tal that you can download for free. So yeah, you can hear a little bit. It's really, I've made it super discreet so the like line is not too dramatic. I've put it sort of like, so it's almost like a phaser, but it's not. So yeah, it's kind of just like making the sound bounce a bit. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I added some tape delay, just a quarter note. I'll put the feedback really low. I didn't really mess around here, but feel free to, I think, just like play with stuff until you are happy with it sonically. Like there's no rules to this stuff. Cool. also sounds great. And I'm thinking, because I don't want it to just sound like Vanilla Ice, it's more fun like messing with vocals, especially like vocal samples. You want it to sound a little bit effed up. So I'm also going to add this vocal transformer plugin, which is just the one that comes with Logic. And what I do there, like I'm not going to touch the pitch because that will actually change the key, like it will make it sound out of key. What I do is I turn the format up or down, and what that does is just give you that like weird, creepy, like trap low vocals that you hear a lot nowadays. So yeah, I turned it to -7. I'll show you. Yeah, that's it. I think you can get better ones like online, but this will do for now. And then I just added a bit of compression, just so I could have it a little bit higher in the mix and not peak. So yeah, and then I just cut up the same, like the bit where he's saying P. I just like cut the beginning of that, like, I mean, I'll loop it so you can hear. Oh, bugger. So yeah, it's just him saying put. Yeah. I just cut the beginning of that to add to this other climatic part that I put, where there's like loads of sweeps and you know, like drum fills and stuff, just to add like to that sort of climax. Cool, so that's basically all I did with that one. It's so easy. That is just a way of like using samples where you're literally just cutting and pasting, really, and making you know, you can put it to your own time. And cool, so that kind of goes on until the end. Okay, so the other way you can use samples is obviously by using a sampler. There is a sampler built into Logic. If you go to, let me try and remember, I haven't used it. Oh yeah, so it's the EXS24, and normally you can get really good tutorials on how to use this, and it is pretty good. I've used it. I used to use it. The only problem I had with it is that it goes out of sync when I bounce a whole track, meaning that that particular track on the audio would be like out of time with everything else. And I think that's just like, if you put too many effects on it, it just sort of freaks out. But it's a cool sampler anyway, like definitely have a go using it. But the one that I use, I did have to buy, and it's this Iris 2 Isotope. It's amazing. It does everything. It's really good as a standalone synth, and it's also amazing as a sampler. And yeah, like you can spend hours just messing around on it. So yeah, I'll show you really briefly how to use it. There's so much that it does, and you should definitely like explore it fully if you do end up buying it. It's a little bit pricey, it's like £100, but I think it's a good investment if you use a lot of like vocal samples or any samples. So yeah, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So you can, to load in a sample, you just click the like file icon, And then we've got to find our samples. So I'm going to pick this one, Vanilla, and this is basically him just saying vanilla.
Vanilla. Vanilla.
Love it. Okay. So that's loaded in there, which means you can now play it. Yeah. Oh wait, I forgot that I put loads of delay on that. Let's take that off for now. Okay. So at the moment it's set to loop. I'm going to take that off so it doesn't just like play. If you take that off, it just plays it once. And then there's like a slight bit there at the end where I cut it a little bit too long. So you can actually change that. If you go over here, time selection tool, and you just highlight over the part in this bit that you want to use, it takes away what you don't want to use. Amazing. How good is that? So now it's only going to play that bit when I type it into MIDI. And then I just tend to like add a few other little bits and bobs. Like I like turning the intensity up just because it sounds a little bit more banging. Maybe turn the output up slightly because it is quite a loud track. Bit too loud. Great. And here there's like some master effects and stuff, so you can add a bit of distortion. I'm actually going to take that off. This chorus. Gives it quite like a good. Sounds quite cool, like the chorus on this. And yeah, there's delay and reverb. I'm actually using a different delay and reverb on this one just because I want a really long full reverb. And my favorite reverb plugin, I use it in everything. I use it on drums, I use it on vocals. I love this plugin. The Tile Reverb, it's free. Yeah, so I've just set that to like quite a big room size. It's kind of standard here, and I just took the like high end a little bit down just because like it's a bit of a quite like high-endy sample. So let's hear it. Also, if you click Command K, like it'll bring up the keyboard. And you can just play like on your Great, love it. So let's switch on. So yeah, that's cool. It sounds like a monster now. I'm gonna add some delay as well. So yeah, again, this is just the tape delay that comes with Logic. I've set it to quite a long deviation. So it was at like 7 something there, and it's like a 1 full note, and the feedback is super high. So yeah, it resonates for quite a while. And then literally you can just play it into Logic. Like you can, so I'm gonna go like over here and like press record. So yeah, that's it recorded in there, and then you can just like click on that. You can quantize it over here, or you can like move it about, change the notes. Super easy. So I already did that. I've like decided where I want this, and basically I decided that was a cool noise to sort of like put an exclamation mark on a part of the song, or like a full stop. So almost like how some people would use a symbol. It's kind of just like showing you when a new part's coming in. That's what I've used it for. So like at this beginning. Yeah, it's like a punctuation, you know? point, it's almost like filling up the song a little bit, like, you know, so almost adding a little bit of depth and a bit of like bassier notes and stuff, and I'm quite into that, like it. So yeah, again, I just like went through the song, put it where I thought it sounded cool, and then I decided that they needed a little bit more like rhythmic sampling, like something a little bit more like dramatic, that isn't just like these discrete little notes that are sort of happening and you kind of can hear them or whatever. So I did something that my friend Michael likes to call the weird, crazy frog shit that you do. And it's basically cutting up samples really small and like making them sort of percussion. I'm sure you know what I mean when you hear it. And I did it with the jump in bit, the bit that we bounced earlier that I showed you. Yeah, and I did the same process, like used the isotope sampler again. I loaded it into here. Yeah, and then I added like loads of chorus, a tiny bit of delay and a tiny bit of reverb. I used the delay and reverb in here this time because I wanted just like a discrete, just added a little bit of depth, like nothing too dramatic. And then I upped the intensity and the output.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in. Now that the party is jumping, now that the party is jumping. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping.
So yeah, I love it. And then I just put some compression and EQ. Also the EQ is there again because I do loads of filter sweeps. I'm like addicted to filter sweeps. Okay. And then I played around for ages, like I would loop this bit and I just like keep like, I'll just play it. And yeah, once I'm like kind of happy with it, I would like go in and just move it like this, like, okay, I'll take some bits away, that's too much, I'll add a little bit here, like, and you can do that also this bit if you click the pencil tool as your second sort of pointer and press command, you can just like add, you know, and take away. If you double click on a pointer, it takes it, like with the pencil tool, if you double click it takes it away, or you can put it back. Yeah, so you can do that. You can also like use a brush tool, I have done sometimes, which means you can just like really quickly like use like loads of tiny notes that just go on for ages, which is quite handy sometimes, but I haven't done that in this case. So yeah, this time I just sort of like made a sort of rhythmic, like, yeah, crazy frog shit part to add a little bit of like drama to the song. So as you can see, it's like sweeping in.
jumping. With the now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping.
Yeah, it just ends on that like big vanilla note. So yeah, that's pretty simple really. Like even this part, like it kind of adds like a really fun, like stupid.
Now the party is jumping. With the now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. With the now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping.
Yeah, it's just like super fun to mess around with, and like I literally just do it. There's no rules to me doing this bit. I think some people like really know rhythms and know their theory. I don't at all. I literally just do it to my ear. Like I'll just put it in and I'll be like, that sounds really messy, or that sounds really great, until I like it, until I'm like happy with it. And sometimes it takes a while, but it's worth it in the end.
The party is jumping. With the now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping.
Cool. So yeah, that's how I normally work with samples. It's the simplest way that I use sampling on a DAW. Like it's just hours and hours of fun, and I hope that was helpful in some way. I hope you can take something from that. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Let's kick it. party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now the party is jumping. Now.
Hey there, everybody. This is Tommy, aka Tinyhandz, and today I'm going to be showing you how I flip the sample for Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby. And I'll just dive in. I'll show you what I've been doing. Kind of focused on like kind of heavy chops for this one. It's sort of a Jersey club sort of sound, or at least that's what I was trying for. You should have heard it just a few moments ago, so I'll let you guys decide as to whether you agree with me or not. So we've got the main sample here. I've just done a little bit of fading just to make sure that there's no clipping or anything, just kind of where I've chopped it off at the beginning. I've not done it later on because there's these gaps and it's a little bit better and kind of not clipping there. Sounds really weedy by itself, I've got to say. The actual track, I've not really done all that much processing to it. It's got a bit of a filter on it, I guess. Let's see if I've done anything interesting with the filter. No, not really, to be honest. It does have some automation on the track just so that I can get that G to F. Yeah, so a little bit of that, a little bit of modulation with that throughout, but most of the processing that I've got for my vocals in general, I have on the summing stack here. I use these like religiously, as you can see, just to kind of get everything into one place and everything I can process at once, save the bandwidth. I can do just there, so I can basically all the vocals that I have, I can cut out the bass end, and you should be doing this with everything that isn't a kick and a bass. Maybe not up to 200, maybe up to like 150 for things that you do want to have a bit more weight to them. I wanted to boost it here, and because it's pitched up, I wanted to boost it a bit higher, and I've cut between 1 and 2K so that I can kind of slot something else in around that and not have it kind of interfere too much. So I think, can't remember what I slotted in, but we'll come to it at some point there. I also use some samples that I have in a sample pack I found, I think on Reddit ages ago. I don't really troll through Reddit, but it just came up on Google. Jersey, here you go, some Baltimore breaks, some really cool stuff. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm not actually sure if you guys can hear this when I play them. I hope you can.
Move that butt, bend on over, work it up, back that thing, pump it up, left to the right, fuck it up, to the earth.
Like stuff like that, it just kind of, you just chuck it in. Like more is more. Less is definitely not more when it comes to that sort of thing. Like you wouldn't expect that to fit in. You wouldn't expect to be able to just like chuck a gunshot in, but there you go. So it just explains itself, and because I've got everything running through the same processes, just on the actual summing stack, I don't need to worry about all of them individually. See, I don't actually have anything. This one has a little bit of reverb, but nothing much at all. And I've got my overdrive as well, just to give it a bit of boost. People like to use saturation. I don't. Logic didn't come with a saturation, and I just never got into the habit of using it. And like when I kind of start getting my external plugins and stuff, I still just don't use them as much as I should. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm just in the habit of just using the Logic built-in plugins. Anyway, moving on to our second one. So this is our drums here, and it kind of starts off quite basic. There's a few extra like percussive elements over there. Obviously, the main driving force behind the song is the kick. You can see it's quite a beefy kick. I've just like cut a little bit of the fader out on the edges to make sure that it doesn't clip at the end. And it's got that nice rhythm to it. And then think second to the kick. Bed squeak. Real driving, pumping force behind it. Real interesting stuff. I've got it on a sidechain compressor. I've got a lot of things on a sidechain compressor to the kick, so that you've got that real pump, that doof, doof, doof. So see that needle. You can hear that difference. It just kind of it pumps in time with the bass, because when the bass goes down, it kind of comes back up a bit and it gives you a little bit of kind of movement within the track. I've kind of done the same with a lot of things, although I have, interestingly, not that I have before, but for the first time really started using quite a few noise gate compressors. So I think I've got one on the bass here. It's exactly the same, except instead of compressing it, it just gates it completely. So gates off here. So you set the threshold. If that threshold was higher, it'd gate earlier. If it was lower, it wouldn't gate at all, unless it was like completely off. And this is how much it reduces. You can change it to duck if you want, but fuck that. Like, you know, all or nothing when it comes to Jersey club, all or nothing indeed. I've got a kind of a few more instruments around here, just drum wise. I just fill it out throughout before I kind of go into the build up part. I think quite interesting I've got is these two hats. So they're actually the same. One panned right, one panned left. And the one that's panned right has actually got a filter on it. So it kind of sweeps in and out. And it just kind of gives a bit of movement throughout the phrases and things like that. I've also moved it a little bit further forward just to give it a bit of feel, if you know what I mean. That's the closest you can get to feel if you sample the way I do, which is using just the actual sample in Logic itself. So you can't actually like automatically like quantize swing or anything, but who needs that? Who needs the easy way when you have the hard way? Let's see, the breaks have them here. There's again, I've basically just chopped it up and chopped out the parts where the kick isn't playing. I've chopped up the breaks and reordered them a little bit. You can see it better when I've got the full break playing about here. So you can kind of see there's a few repetitions in it, and it just kind of, it lets you have a bit more control. So good trick is once you've got it all lined up is to just kind of chop it up like that, where you can find what you want to move, and then you can just like flip it around. A few things that I've reversed as well, so you can kind of see which ones are reversed, like that one there. Just a Control Shift R, just one way or the other. Easy way of doing that, really handy. And that just gives it a kind of vibe, you know, the vibe. And I've also kind of done a bit of pitch automation, and it just gives it, just makes it sound cool, really. On the track, I've got distortion. I've got it cut lower this time, about 100, because you still want the beefiness of the break. But you don't want to have it interfering with kind of the low ends. So I've cut it at about 100 there. I've got some distortion on it, about just a lower tone. It just gives it kind of a dirty feeling, gives it a bit more presence as well, which is nice. I actually kind of turned this down before I started bouncing it, before I'd finished it, which is not something that I would normally do with breaks. They're usually quite loud in the mix, but this isn't actually a very heavy song, so I'm not doing any of the things I normally do, which is just loud noises, to be honest. Got a cymbal throughout, just gives it a bit of accentuation, apologies. Don't think extenuation's a word even. And a typical hat. Again, none of these have all that much processing on them. Bit of sample delay on that, just to kind of make it not so rigid. So if you hear it, bollocks. Sorry. All right, that's better. Now I've got to unfreeze it again. There's very, very minor things that just fill it out a little bit, you know. Right, moving on. Next folder. In fact, I'll show you what I've got on there, I think. Or maybe I already have. I don't know. Oh, what do you know? Look at that. Silly me. There we go. Next folder I've got is just a couple of effects, really. So this one that fires in every once in a while. Just sounds pretty cool. Just got a bit of reverb on it, to be honest. So effect in Serum. Serum's really good. If you don't have it, $8.99 a month, it's definitely worth every penny. Most of what I do is in Serum. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm really not that skilled in like many things. I can use Serum. I can use the ES2. I tried Massive once. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very intuitive. But it's just a basic shape. It's got kind of a little bit of a faux there. Gives it that vibe, some phaser and some effects. It's a preset that I've just slightly tweaked, but mainly left as the preset. Pew, 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 pew. Then I've got this. It's kind of the riser and the build up. So for this one, I've actually had to automate it so that I can keep it rising whilst ducking and reducing at the kick. So it's kind of the opposite of what I did with the bass there when it comes into here. So the bass suddenly it becomes full and it's just constant, whereas this one, it just drops off instead and starts off constant instead. I've also got this as a parameter, quite a heavy curve on it, because it's kind of got a bit of volume automation there through the reduction, and then when it comes in, kind of seems to just fade out and disappear. It's probably a bit too severe, that one actually, but I'm not going to change it just now. Yeah, a little bit of this too. Instead of the noise gate, I just chopped it up really because it was a bit quicker and easier to do it that way. It's got the same. It's just basically got this EQ coming through. And that's how you make a drop. Here, I'll show you the bottom as well, me as well, and then I'll just talk about kind of how I got it in order and everything like that. And I think that'll see us through to the end. There's only a few minutes left. It's very tiny sounds to hit in the background, quite a lot of reverb compared to usual. That should actually be a bit higher. A lot of reflectivity on the reverb. Again, I'm just using the silver verb that's in Logic. I actually have I think I've got Valhalla. Where's Valhalla gone? No, I've got native verb. I used to have Valhalla, but it kept crashing, and so did verb. They all crash. I'm going to be honest here. They just don't work. Yeah, I've got to be honest. I've not really gone balls to the wall with the processing or the mastering on this. I've always felt that Jersey chops things up, but isn't too heavy on any of that. So most of what I've done, just kind of EQ slotting. I'll show you between the kick and the bass, actually, the EQs. If you have a look, cut at 50, boost at 100 to 200 for the kick, because I want the kick to have the kind of the highest presence, because it's the kind of driving part of the tune. This just needs to be in the background, really. So it's got its boost at 50. It's got its boost at 50, and it's got a cut at 100 to 200, and it just helps them be a bit more symbiotic when they're working together. Something I learned, it's about the only thing that I can do successfully because it's so very easy. Other than that, Jersey, yes, simple music, doesn't take much processing. It's quite a short song. Most Jersey is. I'd say that the reference track that was in my head when I was making this was the new Murder Club American Football Club edit. Really, really good. Recommend it. And it's just kind of intro, and then just a build up of drums and everything. So I was kind of separating between the kind of the very janky bitty parts, and then when everything comes in. Now then you've got kind of a more full sound. You've not got just as much of the gaps and everything like that, and it kind of separates those there, and you can bring the verse in. The verse is very chopped up, so it's, good luck understanding what he's saying, but you get the opportunity to hear it in a different light, I suppose. You'll see that I've done quite a bit of pitch shifting just to kind of get that. Let's get in there, just to get that sort of vibe through. Really went wild with the sampling here. A lot of reversing, a lot of just kind of chopping up and repeating stuff. Still very, very basic, to be honest, but if you don't find it a bit too much, then you quite like it. Like a lot of people do find that kind of sampling too much. I really love it. I really love it when everything's just happening at once, you know, especially. The guns just sound great. I think I've got a reload in there as well. So yeah, bring it in. So I've got some kind of slightly different sampling once it's dropped. It's a bit less kind of melodic, a bit more rhythmic, and I think it kind of suits the drop a bit better. Kind of coming back. So originally that's where that ended, but like 5 minutes before I did my final bounce, I decided I wanted it to end properly. So I just did it without any sampling, it's just the drums and everything. Give it a big gap. And then just brought it in just minimal amounts of drums. And I really wanted to fuck with the break here. So you can see that the pitch just kind of goes up on a curve there before dropping down. Show you what that sounds like in a second. And you can also see that I've like kicked that drive up to make it sound kind of horrible, but it's like at the same time, everything else is sort of cutting out. You can see that there as well. But if you hear it, kind of a cool way to end it, I suppose. Just a case of using the Apple pitch shifter and going up and down. I would recommend have something at 0 after it, because I can actually reach 0 this time. Usually can't actually get it back to 0, which is really fucking annoying. But also like there's probably better ways of doing this, so it's my fault for just sticking with this as a means. Yeah, right. Other than that, I think that's about 20 minutes in. That's been the whole thing. I hope I explained it well. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned a thing or two about as to whether it being what to do, what not to do. And I hope you have a good day. I was Tommy, aka Tinyhandz. Ciao.
holding me tightly. Flow like a harpoon billion nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights, and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and light a jump like a candle. Dance, rush the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly, when I play a dope melody. Anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gain weight. You better hit the bulls, how the kid don't play. And if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ performs it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas all pumping. Quick to the point, no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. Burning them, you're not quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal and a hi-hat with a souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo. Rolling, hit my 5.0 with the rag top down so my hair can blow. The girl is on standby waiting just to say hi. Did you stop? No, I just drove by, kept on. Pursuing to the next stop. I bust a left and I'm heading to the next stop. The block is dead, yo, so I continue to A1A. Beachfront Avenue, girls were hot with the less than bikinis. Rock me lovers, driving Lamborghinis. Jealous, cause I'm out getting mine. Shade with the cage and vanilla with the 9. Ready for the jumps on the wall. The jumps act the hill cause it's full of 8-ball. Gunshot, rings out like a bell. I grabbed my 9, all I heard was shells falling on the concrete real fast. Up in my car, slammed on the gas. Bumper to bumper, the avenue's packed. I'm trying to get away before the jackers jack. Lily's on the scene, you know what I mean? They gas me up in front of all the dope fiends. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Yo, VIP. Let's kick it. Ice, 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 baby. Ice, 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 baby. Ice, 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 baby. Ice, 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 baby. Stop, can I read and listen? 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 Ice,